Hey friends, so buckle up. We are going to watch a rough one today. Sucks to see someone die from someone else's fault. As usual, it does come back to you can always save yourself, but poor gameplay here from tanks results in someone's death, so let's watch it. I'm talking about the Onlyfangs group hardcore. We're watching Firemaw here. These guys don't understand how this boss works, or I don't know. Just kind of strange to watch this. So first off, Ampy does a really poor job on the opener here. He almost dies. He doesn't use his Juju Guile or a Healthstone. Those things would have been really helpful. I'm also a little surprised he doesn't have any sort of healing on his flash set. As the main tank, you can just get a couple greens and suddenly have like 400 or 500 healing without like any effort at all. So a little surprised by that, seeing how he's got a Thunder Fury and all. But anyway, hopefully he can get a little bit more gear. He clearly needs it. So start of Firemaw goes well, and then the off tank really screws it up here. Soda Poppin does a good job with his positioning, but he does a poor job with execution. I would recommend coming in on 10 or 11 seconds for the wing buffet. When he comes in like this at 6 seconds, he's setting himself up for failure, which is exactly what happens. He's going to get a taunt resist, and he comes in super, super late. So taunt resist, this would have been a disaster right there. Fortunately, um, two things happen. He reacts and his challenging shout lands, so now he's got it fixated on him, but he doesn't have the actual threat from it. But at the same time as the challenging shout, Gordon does a taunt. The problem is Gordon is way out of position. Where he's standing is just wrong. You don't want to be standing there. You want to be standing exactly on top of Alcor. So what happens here? Alcor has the highest threat. Boom. So he gets knocked away, but with where he's positioned, Alcor is not on top of Gordon. Gordon's threat doesn't drop because he doesn't get hit by the buffet. See how he just like shimmied away from the buffet? So now Gordon is still going to be highest on threat. So because Gordon's highest on threat, Umpy stacks on top of Gordon, and now he's going to get that taunt off when he can. So he's going to get the box back, and now Gordon, instead of running out and waiting for his stacks to drop and ready for the next wing buffet, he doesn't do that. He stays in and causes disaster. So we'll watch from Gordon's point of view in a second here. But again, this positioning makes no sense as an off tank. He's just taking heals from Ampi, and now disaster happens. So Alcor has the taunt. Gordon is in the wrong spot. Gordon naturally takes over threat from Alcor because he never got a threat reset earlier. So Gordon and Ampi's threat is pretty comparable. Ampi gets it. Gordon never had that threat drop, and now he's still pumping threat this entire time because he doesn't leave. So he's going to get back-to-back crits here. He takes over and is in the worst possible spot. So when this wing buffet happens at the exact time that he pulls threat, if Ampi was really quick here and cast a spell right when that wing buffet went out, it would have gone to Ampi and that boss wouldn't have flipped around. Ampi did not do the right job here. He needed to press a spell because the game still registered that Gordon was highest on threat, even though he got wing buffeted because Ampi didn't do anything here. He's just watching. So we'll watch from Gordon's point of view here, but again, just failures on multiple fronts. Um, kind of wild, and I'm being a little bit maybe harsh in this analysis, but again, I think I'm harsh because it's just shocking to me how poor this gameplay is from a group that plays World of Warcraft all day long every day. So we'll take a step back, we'll watch a gamer play, but again, I'll be a little critical. So this is an earlier pull from Gordon. Again, I'm being a little critical, but because it matters. As a tank, the raid is in your hands, and if you do things wrong, it's your fault. Gordon has a tough job here. He's the one druid in the raid. Normally there would be two druids to hibernate each of these, or, not normally. This is kind of a meta comp is to have one druid. I would recommend just killing one of the Wormkins instead of having one person be responsible for two of them. But if you're going to do this, this is a terrible spot where he's standing. You don't want to be standing in the open room here because the other targeted mobs there, they do a knockback. So he's going to get knocked back into this room here because of his positioning. So if he was around the corner here, or kind of, hugged in the corner back a bit, that'd be better. But where he's standing is the literal worst possible spot. If he didn't backpedal there for half a second, he would have been fine. Like right where he goes right there, that's perfect. But now he's going to take a step back. I think he wanted to be eligible for heals or whatever, but this positioning is poor, and you're going to see why in a second. Fortunately, I will give him credit, big time gamer play to save from disaster here with quick thinking. So he goes into bear form and charges just in time. So he gets that charge off and then continues to hibernate, and now he's in a much better position. Fortunately, he resists the fire blast. I mean, if you get hit by a couple of these fire blasts, that could be deadly, but reality is this is a much better position because you're not in range to get knocked back from those other mobs. You just got out of line of sight, which is good. But yeah, where he's standing here, hopefully those other mobs are dead now. I'm not totally sure, but again, this is a scary spot to be standing. Okay, so let's watch Gordon's point of view now. So here comes Firemaw. If your job is to be the wing buffet tank, don't do what he does here. He's trying to min-max 300 DPS as a feral druid. Your DPS does not matter as a feral druid. All you're there for is the taunt. And I think he kind of forgot about that. So here he is doing lackluster DPS, and those stacks are stacking up. Not a big deal to have just a couple, but again, ideally you would not want your off tank to have stacks going into this. This positioning from here is very poor. So he gets not buffeted because of where he's standing. And now you can see the threat meter, how he still has very high threat. His threat did not get halved like Alcor because of his positioning. So here's the disaster. He thinks to himself, okay, Ampi has it. I still want to do damage. I can stay in. I only have a couple stacks. No, you still have your threat. This is very risky and dangerous. And now he's just taking resources from the healers by being in this spot. Terrible positioning here. And he gets back-to-back crits. So worst possible time to be spamming Maul, and just kind of unfortunate to get lucky crits there. That second crit, right, just takes him over. And again, because Ampi didn't press any spells with where this positioning was, disaster. So Ampi recovers, fixes it, and again, just kind of strange how Gordon still is in this fight. I would recommend going back out and then being ready. He didn't innervate a healer, I don't think, right? Just kind of completely useless in terms of being a feral druid. So if you are tasked on Firemaw to be the taunter, don't do what this guy did. Very, very poor. So just some thoughts.